Hi guys, welcome to my first ever devlog, I guess. Um, so currently I'm working on a golf RPG. Um, the idea of it is that you are a mini tour golfer trying to make it all the way to like I would consider like a main tour. Um, this is the first ever attempt I've ever had at making a large game project. Um, and I'm doing it all using Godot, Claude, aseprite, and later on I also added cursor. I will explain why I did that in just a minute. So before we do anything, I'm going to explain like the core idea of the game. So basic concept is it's not just a golf game. It's more of like a career RPG. So instead of only playing rounds of golf, you have to manage things like health and fatigue, training and skill progression, money management, aiming and long aging and long-term career decisions, relationship with other players, rivalries, friendships, and it will also have multiple endings if everything goes to plan. Um, so one big aspect of this game that I like is that you'll be like a traveling nomad. So you'll live in an RV, traveling around the country, bouncing from round to round, slowly working your way up to the mini tours until you eventually reach like a main tour. So as I mentioned, I'm using a mix of aseprite, Claude, Godot, and Cursor. Um, the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm not much of a coder. I have ideas for games that I would love to make. I've always struggled with code, and so using these AI tools have helped me really get into the nitty gritty of it and actually start developing games. At first, I thought I could do it with just Claude code, but as most of you are have no doubt experienced this before, this was 3 days into the week. Yeah, I couldn't do this. So I started using Cursor as well. Cursor has been great. Um, there's still limits, and you have to be careful because you can use your monthly limit in 3 days. Trust me, uh, I've seen it. But as long as I budget myself to about 3 or 4% a day, and then I take a few days off in between, give myself breaks, then I can really have long coding sessions. Where with Claude Code, I have to stop every hour and then wait like 4 hours. Another thing that I'm using are MCP files or servers. What MCP servers allow me to do is, um, so it stands for Model Context Protocol. Doesn't really matter. You can find a lot of these on GitHub. And how it works is it allows the AI to directly um, directly access things like Godot, and I also have it on Aseprite to help me with certain things. It's been great. It can help me set up nodes. It can write code for me. It can help me set up tile maps. Um, so yeah, I've been using Aseprite for so many things like creating tile maps. I haven't gotten to sprites and character animation, but we're getting close. I'd also like to add that unfortunately I didn't think to make this devlog. So I'm a few days into development. So some of the core aspects of the game are mostly gameplay is already developed. So I can show you that, but I can't show you how I did it. So first, I know a lot of you are going to say soulless game developer, not learning the code. I want to do as much of this as possible. I'm learning the game engine. And even though I have Claude hooked up to Aseprite, I built an entire tile pack by myself for the first time, just so I can get the experience of doing it. I can't promise that I'm going to do it for every tile pack, because this one did take me, admittedly, 2 days to do. Now, granted, it was my first tile pack, but it's pretty simple. It's kind of embarrassing how long it took me to do this. So let's look. So this is my first attempt at doing it, and as you can see, just some basic fairways, and I'm already messing up. Um, So it's just some basic fairways that I'm building, and you saw up there was some rough, and I know it looks like weird rough, and like the fairways look kind of messed up, and that's kind of on purpose. I'm starting off with the smaller mini tours right now, so I figure like it's a regional event. You're gonna play at courses where the fairways are not pristine and the rough is pretty bad. That's just been my experience playing like what's the word? Blanking on the word now. Anyway, it's been my experience playing golf that, obviously on the lower ends of competition, you're going to play some kind of crappy courses. So we can skip ahead. You don't need to watch me do this whole thing. See how long it takes me to do one fairway. I've gotten a lot better since then. Let's move on to something else. Okay. So here's an inspiration I was pulling from when I was creating this tile pack. I didn't end up doing much like it. It was just kind of an initial. I found the picture on the internet. So then I started making these trees. These are I'm really proud of. They look really good. But pine trees are pretty easy. After this, I moved on to making some. I think it was like cherry trees. The reason why I did cherry trees is because I want the player to start in like a Michigan. That's where I grew up, and I can tell you, playing golf in Michigan, it's difficult because you don't really have an off season. Um, it's nice to play outside, and then it's snow. So you got competitions, snow. There is no in between, and I wanted the player to sort of feel that crunch like, man, I need to progress so I can get out of Michigan. And so I made cherry trees because I want one of the first tournaments to be in Traverse City area. If you know Traverse City, it is like the cherry capital of the world. So I'll just let you watch me build this for a bit. Wow. Yeah. So that was a lot sadder to watch than I thought it would be. But like I said, I'm learning all these things. I'm trying to figure it out by myself. So feel free to either A, ream me in the comments, or B, give me advice. I would gladly take some. So then moving on, as you can see, I skipped ahead so you guys can see. So right now in my code base, I have three types of trees: tall, medium, and large, or small, medium, and large. And that actually does affect gameplay. You know, you can hit over small trees a lot easier than you can over like the really tall tree, like that one out there. I don't think cherry trees grow that big, but I honestly don't care. And so now I have all my trees that I want kind of done for the Michigan section. I'm probably going to add some oak trees later on, but that's what I got for right now. So next, what I did was I moved on to making the green section. So I already made the green. It was pretty easy. It was just like big circle. And now what I did was I made like fringe around it. So I wanted the fringe to look a little bit different from the rough. So what I did was I sort of made like a circle going around. And what I did to do this was I split it up into four quadrants, and then I only worked in one section to see how it mirrors there. So that made the workflow go twice as fast. I was definitely picking some stuff up here at this point. I was getting a lot more comfortable using aseprite to make, the tile map that I needed. Skip ahead a little bit here so you can see sort of how it looks. And then by the end, uh, this is what the green outline looked like. I made it a little bit thicker, if I believe. Yes, so you see it was 4 lines thick. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding some, right, so I made the curved sections first. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the straight sections so I can make longer greens, and have a little bit more variety there. I am going to eventually make some more curved sections, ones that, indent in, and there you go, I messed up again. Ones that like indent in so you can make some funky green shapes. But right now, circles, ovals, it's going to be just fine. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of course designing quite yet. I just wanted some assets on the screen so I could look them over and add them into my code base and try to make the game work. So after a lot of hours of work, this is what I sort of have. That's the green, the basic green. You can make it longer, shorter. This is just the assets. And then, yeah, it looks like eventually I do group those all together. Next thing I work on is you need some curves for the fairways. So I worked on this for a bit. Uh, Again, still super slow, but I'm getting better at what I need to do. I can skip ahead a little bit here. So I do it in some really funky way, but you're going to get the gist here in just a minute. So one thing that saved me was this curved line feature. Oh my God, I love it. So all you do is you click one end to the other, and then you curve it. It makes life so much easier. Um, Up here right now, I have this slanted one. I want to make this work eventually, so it's not just all hard like 90s. I couldn't get it to work. I'll fiddle around with it a little bit more, but that's kind of on the back burner for just right now. Yeah, that sometimes happens. You have to double click this, otherwise it shoots off with you. Yep, and so there's a basic curve, but you're gonna notice a mistake that I'm gonna notice it in like 2 seconds here. And this just about made me rage quit because this was like the fourth one I've made, and I was like, how do you mess it up that badly? So watch, I'm gonna line it up here with a different fairway, and boom. That was not even close to right. I don't know what I was thinking. Um, yeah, so I think I just skip ahead here, and boom. There we go. So now we have all the curves, all the fairway pieces we could need. Oh, I didn't show you the making of this, but I also made water. And over here, there's thick rough. So you got some bushes in there, some tall grass, some crabgrass. And these potato chips over here are supposed to be bunkers. Not the best, but they are there. So now that we're done with that, we get to move on to the actual course design. So let's move over there. This is where it really starts getting fun. So right here's our tee box. As you can see, there's tee markers, pin markers, and then course map overlay. Right now we're in the course map ground. So we are designing the ground, and then on the overlay is where I put the trees and the hazards. Um, this is so I didn't have to make a bunch of different iterations for like tree rough, tree fairway. All I have to do is make what I want, and then I put a tree there, or I put water there, or I put a sand bunker there. Makes life so much more simple. And then right here, that little dot right there, that's the hole. So I can move that wherever I want, and I can move the T marker wherever I want. So I can make any hole design that I want at this point, as long as I have the tiles to do it. Um, and right now, I think I have enough tiles that I could do a couple of really basic courses. I'm going to add on so many more tiles, and I kind of liked making them myself. So I think I'm going to try to make as many of them as I can by myself. Plus, it's going to make it easier to keep a consistent art design. That's one thing I've heard with like code designing and things when I've tried. It never comes out the same twice. So unless you one shot your entire game design, you're never going to get it quite how you want it. Um, so I will stop talking for a bit and let him design this course. So here I was struggling with some tiles. Think it was because I didn't switch well, I know it was because I didn't switch to uh course map overlay. That's where I put the trees and stuff like that. I come back to that in a minute, but I just work on some other things for now. I was having some other technical difficulties, so I skipped ahead a bit. All right, so now we have a fully mapped out course. As you can see, I'm on course map overlay, and that's where I put the trees in, that's where I put the sand bunker, and that's where I put the water in as well. I think I also am about to put in the actual hole. Yep. Oh, that's not the hole. Uh, there we go. And so then what I can do is I can go into that and switch so the pin lines up perfectly with where I want the actual pin to go. And when I start up the game, it's still the placeholder animations. No problem. Slap that into Claude, or I guess it was Cursor, and boom, here we go. Um, so some of the mechanics, like I don't love the power bar and everything. And other things are not showing up. So I'm gonna pause it here. See how that line is really curved? I do have wind mechanics that will shorten or lengthen ball flight, and obviously make it curve. I do also have a fade draw mechanic, which I think I try to use here to neutralize that fade. Yeah, I do. Um, and as you can see right now, the trees, the water, and the sand is not showing up. I do fix that in a minute. There's another problem I got to work on. Okay, now you'll see it when I get up to the green, right there. This was a placeholder. So originally I wanted this game in 2.5D. It did not look good. I did not like it at all, and it was basically unplayable. So I created this for putting. However, it's not necessary anymore because I have the 2D overlay anyway, or overhead 2D anyway. So I'm going to get rid of this. Maybe I'll show you guys that in the next video how I got rid of this. But there are some good things. There's a chipping mechanic in this, and there's also brakes. See, I can't even find the ball. The bunkers don't actually work. As you can see, I was on the green and now the ball's over there. It's all sorts of messed up. So I'll pause it here. So you see, I added the brake lines, and this actually works very well. The ball breaks a lot. It breaks how you expect it to break. The chipping mechanic is not where I want it to be. It's more of a placeholder, just like everything else around the green. The green was way harder than I thought it was going to be to make. It's really stumped me so far. But as you can see, watch up here, you'll see how much distance you lose. And then you're actually coming back down the hill because it was such a big hill. And right now you also just teleport there. You don't walk to it. I'm going to change that too. Watch how much this ball breaks past the hole. Yeah. I'm overall not very proud of the putting right now. It's gonna get gutted, but I think that's more or less it so far. Oh wait, no, it's not. I forgot. Here was the problem. In the mini map, it's still not showing any hazards or anything like that. So I went and I fixed that. So now, as you can see, when you I didn't aim at the trees. But when you aim at trees, you see those red marks. Those means you can't get over the tree because it's like a driver, and I don't want you cut in the corner. Um, it also will show if you're about to hit over water, if you can clear the water, and same with sand. See right there. Um, if I were to aim out to the right, you see I'm going to clear the water because my ball line just barely clips the water there. And then again, back to the terrible putting section that I'm not proud of. That's where I've gotten so far. I'm hoping to get a lot more progress done soon and maybe next video out. Um, but that's it. If you were watching, thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed it, please come back again.